So when the 49ers win in ways that they should, they get rights to be praised. When they win or lose in ways they get heat for, then they'll definitely hear it from me, especially in ways that they win in 49ers football fashion. In week 5 against the Carolina Panthers, they got the first way of winning, which is the way that they should be winning. Balanced effort, good offensive football, good defensive football, a good clean balance from both sides. Because I got to be honest with you, this is a really good win for the 49ers over the Carolina Panthers. They completely took care of their business in week 5. What's going on, everyone? It is Dylan Lasagna of Very Cold Lasagna, bringing you another weekly recap for my San Francisco 49ers. And, well, aside from the cost that was given throughout the game, more on that later though, the whole team, that includes Jimmy G. Yes, Jimmy G actually did good in this game. I'm surprised. But nonetheless, they played really well. Kyle Shanahan actually put together a good game plan this time around. I just hope he stays consistent to that now. The defense was all up in Baker Mayfield's face. And also, granted, Baker Mayfield kind of sucks as a quarterback, and he proved in this game that he shouldn't be an NFL starter. They didn't let up on Christian McCaffrey on most critical downs. Jimmy G looking pretty good. He looks sharp in some of his throws, zipping the balls to guys like George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Jawan Jennings, Deebo Samuel, Jeff Wilson Jr., and even Tevin Coleman, who I didn't even know was on the team again. Had fantastic games in this game against the Panthers. So, overall, a good team win for the 49ers. Team win. This was a team effort by the Niners in this smashing of a bad team in the Carolina Panthers. So, they got it going early. They got it going often, starting with the opening drive. You see Jimmy G zip his first 2 throws to George Kittle, to convert 2 third downs to keep the drive going. Jeff Wilson makes this big run down the stretch of the field, put the Niners near the goal line. Tevin Coleman, again, who I didn't even know was on the team until this game, he ran it in, made it 7-0 for the 49ers. And, it was a good start for San Fran, who, by the way, I guess you could call Carolina, you could call Bank of America Stadium Carolina San Fran East, or Levi's East or something. I don't know. So anyway, it was unfortunate that Kittle did lose a fumble when the 49ers took the field on offense on the next series. But the defense, the great defense of the 49ers, they didn't let Christian McCaffrey's offense, because that's basically what it is. Matt Rule basically runs the offense through Christian McCaffrey and nobody else. Not even Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore. They'll let them have their fun very rarely, but everything runs through Christian McCaffrey. They hold them to a field goal that they missed. Yeah, that's pretty much how it is. And then for the 49ers, they extend the lead 10-0. It could have been 14-0 early on, but Jalen Moore, the third string left tackle, gives up a sack. I was kind of like, okay, that's fine. Get him on the next one. Brian Burns had a solid day until he eventually couldn't get to Jimmy G anymore, because Jimmy G started slinging the ball even faster, which was good. The Panthers, started to try and get back into it, because Baker Mayfield got that one deep throw that he loves to do each and every time that he can, to Robbie Anderson, but they still get held to 3 thanks to the Niners defense. So by this point, it's 10-3. You still would like to see some things happening for your offense. By that point, I was thinking about the Niners offense. It's like, okay, you're showing some promising signs here in the first half. I'm liking what I'm seeing here. They're finally doing things, but now you have to finish drives. You have to score more than just field goals here. But unfortunately, that was not the case yet. And worse, the special teams had their field goal attempt blocked before the half. But fortunately, the defense bailed them out because Emmanuel Mosley got a pick six off of Baker Mayfield before the half ended. And the Niners, would you know it, up 17-3 going into the halftime after another drive from Carolina, a kneel down from Jimmy G. And yeah, that was pretty much your first half for the 49ers. And that's the story of their 3 games so far. An offense that's still trying to get something going, an on and off offense, but they just can't finish. They just can't finish drives, and they have to set up for 3 points. And then, meanwhile, for their defense, they're playing great again consistently. Meanwhile, for the Panthers, yeah, they were very bad. They were just very bad. Even with the solid offensive line, Baker Mayfield was making very bad decisions with the football. He was just throwing. He was either underthrowing it or overthrowing his receivers. He was holding onto the ball for too long. I think he double tucked it once, and then he ate the sack. And then, of course, we have the grateful donation to Emmanuel Mosley for the pick six. So, man, what a downfall for Baker Mayfield, huh? What a downfall for the number 1 overall pick back in 2018. If that doesn't happen, it's the Christian McCaffrey show. That's pretty much the story of the Carolina Panthers so far in 5 games. And, well, that was pretty much the same story in the second half. After they let off this big kickoff return, and Robbie Gould took a big hit from the returner, so even more disastrous special teams play from the 49ers. They let Baker Mayfield and Christian McCaffrey go ham on their opening possession in the second half. McCaffrey, makes it a still a 2-score deficit for the Panthers because they missed the 2-point conversion on some weird trickery play that they failed to do. So by this point, it's 17-9, and fortunately for their defense, they pulled out the stop. But by that point, you want your offense to get rolling. They want your offense to respond. And thankfully they did. They finally did a thing. They finally did something great. I guess you could say, let me temper my expectations a bit. Good. And then later, great. They actually scored points in the second half. They actually did things in the second half. You got nice throws from Jimmy G, to Debo, to Juwan Jennings. Jennings taking a big catch and run to set up Debo's eventual touchdown to extend the lead for the 49ers. And then going into the fourth quarter, the Panthers started to see that lead, the opportunity to try to get back into the game slip away from them. The Kitties in blue were staring at a 24-12 disadvantage for them. It's like, fuck, we got to do something. We have to do something here. We got to get some stops here. But without their corner, J.C. Horn, who left the game and was later ruled out of it, I forgot what injury it was, though. They saw on the Niners continuing drive from third quarter, towards the end of the third quarter to the fourth quarter. Kyle Juszczyk, Brandon Ayuk, and Juwan Jennings all made nice moves, with Juszczyk making a stiff arm, a nasty stiff arm, and then Ayuk and Juwan Jennings just slipping away from defenders of the Panthers to extend the Niners' drive. And then sooner or later, the Niners are up 30-12. So even though it was still a lot of time left on the clock, the Panthers were not really doing much to help themselves because Baker Mayfield still doing the same things that would get the Panthers in trouble. And he was also taking a lot of sacks from that Niners offense that was pretty much missing Nick Bosa, who was ruled out of the game eventually. But that depth of the Niners defense, holding through, holding strong. So towards the end of the game, unfortunately, Emmanuel Mosley did go down on the turf with the knee injury in Carolina's last meaningful drive, which was I'm not sure why exactly he was even in the game in the first place when they should have started rotating out some of the starters when the game started getting out of reach for Carolina. Not sure why he was still there, but yeah, it looked really bad. I'm not sure. That was kind of like my one downer about the 49ers in this game. They should have started rotating out some of the starters in that game. Because, I mean, sure, I know some like the leads are not safe these days, but when a team is playing this bad like Carolina was, you have to eventually start rotating out some of the starters. So Devin Coleman eventually puts the Kitties to sleep for good with a second touchdown, and then the Niners go on to win it 37-15. And I gotta say again, good team effort from the 49ers in this game against a very bad opponent. And the Panthers, they did exactly what they were supposed to do, and that was take care of their shit. That's exactly what they were supposed to do, and they did it. I'm actually I'm actually happy they did it. I'm very pleased. And if they keep doing that on a consistent basis, I know every week is that, quote, any given Sunday. But if they don't play down to their competition, and if they play up to the better competition, such as in a couple weeks' time, the Chiefs, then they can make some. I mean, I'm not saying like let's not get ahead of ourselves, but they can have the potential to surprise people. I'm not saying it will happen, but we'll see. Yes, even with Jimmy Garbage fail, it could happen. Because you can't let this potential of a great defense slip away. You just can't. Because they could continue to be a force. Yes, they did lose a couple of people like Jimmy Ward to a broken hand. Yes, he did come back. He did get activated off injury reserve, but he suffered another injury with a broken hand, which sucks. So we might lose him for at least a game or two. Hopefully not too many games. You also lost Nick Bosa to groin. I think it was like groin tightness. So hopefully it's just like a nagging injury, because it feels like a week to week groin issue. Then that would have been bad for the pass rush. And then, of course, the very bad injury to Emmanuel Mosley. Early reports are saying it's a potentially torn ACL. Hopefully, that's not the case. We'll see in the next coming days. At the time I'm giving you guys this recap. If it is, it's gonna suck. It really is gonna suck. It's gonna test the depth opposite Charvarius Ward. It's a hit to that corner spot that Emmanuel Mosley possessed. So, injury mania again, running wild. What is it? Injury mania 2 in the land of the Niners? No, it's technically Injury Mania 3. Yes, 2018 was Injury Mania 1. And then, of course, we had Injury Mania 2 in 2020. And now we have Injury Mania 3. The big matchup. The big revenge. Oh, God. What is it? Why is it always the Niners every other year? We suffer through Injury Mania. And then in the odd years, someone else suffers it. And then, of course, the Niners go through Injury Mania every other year. There has to be something wrong with our strength and conditioning staff. There has to be. Because if they keep suffering through this many injuries, perhaps they're not training them right. Not training them to stay healthy or whatnot. I mean, I'm not some like trainer or doctor or anything, but if they're having this many injuries, it's like they're doing something wrong. That's all I can say. Let's keep it simple as that. Some of my positives for this week, I mean, obviously, Jimmy G's big game. I mean, I think Jimmy G had I gotta say, really good game. Followed up with a solid game last week but he did really good. I got to give him credit where credit's due. He didn't make too many mistakes this week. I got to give him credit for that. Not a lot of Jimmy garbage fail moments, aside from a couple sacks that wasn't technically his fault. But yeah, as long as he doesn't make those game-changing turnovers or doesn't go past his, or doesn't like stay stuck to his one read, like, you know, he's Baker Mayfield but older, then, you know, he does what he needs to do. Manage the game, make his throws to Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, Juwan Jennings, and make those aggressive, power, sharp throws like he did in this game against the Panthers. The Niners have a chance, and I gotta give it that. The Niners have a solid, decent chance. Just as long as you don't force it onto Jimmy G, just as long as you don't force it on them, and then the depth of the defense. You know, with Jimmy Ward, Nick Bosa, and Mosley going out of the game at different points, reserve players had to come in and step up to the plate. Not all of them couldn't fill in right out of the gate, but others, they at least stepped up to make a difference. So, going into this next game against Atlanta, the depth of their defense is going to be tested, and of course, going down the line, they're going to definitely be tested. But they're going to gain at least some valuable experience. Hopefully. So at least this week, there was very little of 49ers football. And actually good Niners football this week. So quality win for the 49ers, probably their best game in their early season so far. I'm actually pleased. I'm actually pleased by it. Like, I genuinely am. Like I said, if they do good, like I have good things to say about them. I'm like upfront about that. If they do win, but they do bad things to win, or they lose, and they get heat for, and I have things that I'm heated about it, then they'll definitely hear it from me. They'll definitely hear about it. Yeah, like I said, if they play Niners football, whether they win or lose, they're gonna hear it from me. They're gonna hear it from me. But this week, no, they for the most part, they did good. The only things that were kind of bad were the injuries and special teams. They got to work on that. They really have to work on the special teams issues this week, because they gave up a lot of big returns. Robbie Gould eventually got ruled out of the game, and then Mitch Wisnowski, yeah, get a kicker. Robbie Gould is out a game or two, because we can't have Wisnowski kicking our field goals. So looking ahead to Week 6, our early preview, they wrap up their East Coast stay with the trip next to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. Looking at what the Atlanta Falcons did this past week against the Tampa Bay Bucks, man, I saw that highlight. They got screwed, man. They got absolutely screwed. Now, in fairness, they did not call defensive pass interference on Atlanta, but they got absolutely screwed out. They still got screwed out of an opportunity to come back in that game. They were down 19-0, and then they somehow got back into the game. they just needed 6 to tie it, and then a field goal to take the lead. I think they had less than 2 minutes left in the game, or no, less than 3 minutes left in the game. And then I think it was Grady Jarrett that sacked Tom Brady for a critical stop. And then dumbass referee Jerome picks his boogers. He flagged Atlanta for roughing the passer when that was just a clean rolling sack. Like, how is that roughing the passer, man? I don't get it. So the Brady and the Bucks snuck away with a 21-15 victory. Atlanta's 2-3 on the season, but Marcus Mariota clearly struggling in that game, but not in that comeback. So you have to watch out for the Atlanta Falcons, because sure, you could put them down early, but even without their best weapon, Cordarrelle Patterson, and I think Kyle Pitts was also ruled out of that game, they can come back to attack you in an instant, like they did against the Bucs on Sunday, even though they got screwed. I will say that. They got screwed. They absolutely did. So, overall for this game against the Panthers, big win. Quality win. Good game plan by Kyle Shanahan. I'll give him credit for that for this week. And then we'll see what happens next week. We'll be back to preview the game against the Falcons, though. So let me know your thoughts about the Niners win against the Carolina Panthers. They are 3-2 on the season and sole possession of first place in the NFC West, with everyone else losing. Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals all lost this week in week 5. So let me know your thoughts about the 49ers win down in the comments below. And this is Dylan Lasagna of Very Cold Lasagna signing out of Very Cold Lasagna. And keep that lasagna very cold in the fridge with your takes on the world of pro wrestling and sports. And until next time, peace out.